Hello and welcome to our Lord of the Flies Minecraft tour. Today we will be reviewing 5 major symbols that my partners and I chose to represent in the Lord of the Flies island. This presentation is done by John Manhan, Eddie Walsh, and Regan Paris. So right now we are currently looking at a sky view of my partners and I island. We overall put a lot of work into this presentation, so I hope you enjoy. The first major symbol we will be reviewing is Castle Rock. Overall, this plays a major role in the fact of the book of Jack's hiding place and his fellow huntsmen. When reading the passages about Castle Rock, the sense that it is a sign of disorder is presented. With the sheer cliffs and dark atmosphere created around it, an uncontrolled land is put forth, therefore representing disorder. The uncontrolled world that dominates Castle Rock has no real orderly force ruling it, overall permitting the wildlife grow out of control and letting disorder reign free. Overall, it acts as a small hiding place for disorder on the island trying to be dominated by mostly a democratic rule, such as with the conch.
Okay, so when talking about the pig head in the symbol, the pig head represents the overall barrier between escape and being trapped on the island. As said in the second and third quote, the head is the overall reason why the boys couldn't really escape the insanity that possessed them and originally the island itself. When the head said an escape should not be tried, not only was a mental barrier created in the fact that the boys, specifically Simon, believed words, but a physical barrier between the group of the boys was created. As these barriers were built up by the simple words, the ability to escape seemed to become less and less possible. As he says, so don't try to escape, he's saying that there's no way out of here and you boys will never be able to escape.
The fire represents death and hope at the same time. It represents death because on page 202 of the book, Golding states that the fire made a burning wreckage of the island. Anything that could do that is extremely deadly. It also represents hope because the fire is what's going to save them. If they don't have the fire, then the ship can't see them, and if the ship can't see them, they're never going to get off the island. The conch in the Lord of the Flies represents the stability that the boys have on the island. When the conch explodes, all the stability and sanity that the boys have leaves with it. That is why, once the conch explodes, Jack goes on a rampage and attempts to kill Ralph with the fire. The conch is stability and keeps the boys sane.
Our fifth and final symbol was the ship. The ship represents the overall hope for escape. In the passage that we present to you, meaning Ralph continued to watch the ship ravenously. When Ralph watches the ship, this means that Ralph and the other boys are hungry for escape. Overall, in the third passage, which is come back, Ralph is shouting this because he is worried of the fact that they will never be rescued in the end. This means that Ralph wants to leave, and when it does, when the ship leaves itself, the hope for escape leaves with it. And now for a brief tour of my partners and I island. So first we will be starting off by talking about Castle Rock. So overall, my partners and I decided to stick to the theme as Golding described it, as all of the rock on the island being created with pink granite, or pink rock itself. So therefore, what we did really was in the program I mentioned earlier, we created a mountain such as this, and we went across and broke a stone block and replaced a pink granite one. The construction was tedious in the end, but rewarding. We also see the lone fire that Jack had stolen from Ralph and his colleagues, and then this leads us into our next main area of the island, which is the beach. So, if you look down here, we can see first the bathing pool. This is where most of the beginning of the book takes place, and also on the platform. Then we also see the small fire that Ralph attempted to create after the original fire on the mountain had the falling out, and had been no longer been being used. We also see out there how there is the ship drifting out in the distance and the reef out farther in the lagoon. Then we see the 3 main huts that have been constructed, with vines of course blocking the entrances as described by Golding. Then if you continue along the path, we see the main platform area where most of the assemblies took place that Ralph called with the conch. And just as a side note, this is in fact a conch. We created the area of the platform and the benches with jungle wood to stay true to the overall theme of the jungle. If you also look along the lining of the beach, we see that there are jungle trees interacting with the sand all along the sides of the island. Then into the next major part of our island, we see the mountain. Again, my partners and I decided to stay true to the theme that Golden created, that all rock on the island was to be pink. Overall, we decided to replace every single rock block with pink granite, and although it was tedious, again, it was rewarding. Then we go to see the unlit fire, of course, on the top of the mountain, with coal on the inside as it being burned out, and the one area for it being lit. Then this leads us into our final area of importance that my partners and I built, which is main area of where Simon took place of his gatherings with the pighead and his escape such. So, as we see here, this is the pighead on the fence posts, also known as the sticks, and this is Simon's clearing. What we simply did was we chopped down certain jungle trees and created a visible hole through, so especially during the nighttime you can look straight up and there's a wide open area to see into the sky, as again described by Golding. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation on our Lord of the Flies Minecraft Island.